Hi, today we are starting a new project using Zentangles. Zentangles are special patterns that you repeat that are very detailed and interesting, and it's very relaxing and almost like a meditation while you're drawing them. That's why it has the word Zen in the word, Zentangles. So to use for this project, we're going to need a regular Sharpie, an extra fine Sharpie, and a pencil, and a piece of paper. I have my piece of paper cut into a square, and this particular square is, let's get my ruler out here, is 9 by 9. So you can cut your paper down to a 9 by 9 or 8.5 by 8.5 if you're using regular paper. But I want it to be a square. I'm going to start with my pencil, and I'm going to divide my paper into some sections. And we can make any kind of line that you want to divide the paper. I can make curved lines. I can make some straight lines. They don't have to be any certain kind. They can curve around. But what I want to do as I'm making my lines is look at the sections that I have. I want to have, this one's very big, so I want to break it up a little bit more. So I'm going to add another line going through here. So I'm looking at my different sections. Some are a little smaller, but I don't want to have any that are too big. This is still kind of big right here, so I'm going to make one more line going through this. And now, so there's no certain number of sections you have to have, but I just want to have them broken up into smaller sections. Now, we're going to be drawing a different pattern in each one of these sections, but we're not going to draw with our pencil. We're going to use the extra fine Sharpie and draw on the paper. I'm not going to draw with pencil and trace it with the Sharpie. Now, I have linked in this lesson some pages where you can look at to get some ideas for Zentangles. I happen to have a book here that has some patterns in them. And the patterns, some of these patterns show you step by step what you need to do to make the patterns, like this one does. Some of them you can just look at and guess, but some of them might have instructions on how to make the patterns. So it just depends. And you might have your own ideas for patterns. Like this one is simply a rectangle with a smaller rectangle inside of it. And then there's a whole bunch of them, and they're just overlapping each other. Some of them are just lines like this, and some of them have parts in it that are colored in. That's why I asked you to have a regular Sharpie, because if you have a pattern that has parts that are colored in like this, you can use your regular Sharpie to color in the sections. It would be a little bit easier. So you're going to be taking your time and finding a pattern that you'd like to try. So for example, here's a pattern that maybe I'd like to try. This one's called netting. And you just simply pick one of your sections. And to start that netting pattern, you're going to start by making little circles that are in a row, evenly spaced. So that's what I'm doing here. And they don't have to be perfect, because it's supposed to be relaxing and kind of fun when you do this. So you don't have to worry about it looking exactly a certain way. Then I'm making circles below that are kind of in between these. And you could do part of one, so I could even have ones that are parts of a circle. And then I'm going to make another row that's equal with this, the first row. And I'm just filling this up with these little equally spaced circles, and until I run out of room. And again, it's supposed to be relaxing, so we don't want to be so concerned that they're exact. But we do want them to look nice and neat and interesting. The key about these kind of patterns is we don't want basic patterns of just stripes or something like that. We want to make it interesting. Then after I do that, I'm going to connect diagonally with kind of like a petal almost. And I'm going to do that, connect diagonally, all through here. If it goes off the edge, I'm just going to fake it. And go pretend there's another dot over there someplace. Connect, connect. And you're going to keep going and filling all these in diagonally this direction. And then we're going to be filling these in the other way too, like this way. So then you'd go back in and connect them like this too. And you could see why this is called netting, because it looks like a net, almost like a fishing net or something, how it's making this little design, like it's knotted in the middle and it has strings or something. And so you would keep going and fill this in the same way. Now I'll show you one that I was working on earlier. This one has more done on it. I have patterns that are just just drawn like this with no shading, like a whole bunch of circles. Then I have some that have parts of it that are colored in. So that's what these are. They're designs. And so in each section, I'm doing a different pattern. I don't want to repeat the same pattern on my project. In each section, I'm making a different pattern. And if you look at the links I'll provide for you, you should be able to find lots of different ideas of Zentangle designs. And if you just did a search, a Google search, and typed in Zentangle patterns, you can find lots and lots of them online. They're very popular. You could find them with directions on how to do them, or even just look at them. You can even make up your own. The key is that they're interesting. So you can see I drew everything with the extra fine Sharpie, but then you can use the bigger Sharpie to color in sections like the ones on here. You're going to keep going until you fill up the whole piece of paper. And that's what you're going to do for the first part of our project. This project is going to have 2 parts. So this is the first part, and you're going to work on this throughout the week. And like I said, it's very relaxing. And so take your time and do a different pattern in each section. And then next week, I will show you part 2 for this project. Have a great time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.